lead it off, and we'll take it from there. Talk about something. And if you want to talk about the beach, we'll talk about the beach a little.
So where are we? Episode 10?
Double.
Normally this would be reserved for one. We've been trying to do have somebody on every other week, and this week it just didn't pan out. As you can see, poor Scott is suffering. He had to go out of town. It's freezing.
It's cold
I know.
down here
so
today, man.
we couldn't get it together with his limited schedule that he had to go and.
It's hard to get people on. It is. I've struggled with my Wednesdays with the bands I try to do, and you get them signed up, and then last minute they cancel, and it's like, oh, I got a punt here. So we'll get some people.
Yeah,
on
we've got some good people actually lined up for the next week or so. So those will be coming up soon. So we'll definitely have some interesting people on that everybody will want to check out. But in the meantime, where are you calling us from, Scott?
Well, I am in Fort Myers Beach, Florida today, where it is an unprecedented 40-degree night. Never happens down here. It's the only people out are tourists. The locals are wearing parkas and tin blankets, and they're wrapped up in their house right now. But it's supposed to get up to mid-60s today, 70s by tomorrow, and by Friday, 77. So it's going to be beautiful. You can see the weather behind me, though. It's gorgeous. Front came through the last 2 days, and it was blowing. The Gulf, which is normally flat, became a big rough sea out there. 5 to 8 foot waves just offshore and things. So we've had a good time. We spent the day yesterday, Geoff, going to breweries over in Fort Lauderdale. Drove 2 hours across the state, and we bounced microbrewery to microbrewery and had a blast.
Good deal.
But a lot of beer yesterday, a lot of different craft beers. One of them, 14.9% alcohol. So, needless to say, Scott's doing the Bloody Mary morning.
Oh.
Yes, just to get things going today,
well, I was
brother.
going to say it's nice and beautifully sunny here, but the weather is not quite as, warm and cozy as it is down there. It's a blustery 22 degrees here at the moment. I think this morning it was maybe 15 or something crazy. So
we're coming home to crap. I hear it's going to be really
miserable
cold over the weekend.
And we're going to cross paths because here in a few weeks we're actually going to be down there at Fort Lauderdale. So we're going to take a trip down for 3 or 4 days and try to catch some sun.
Hopefully by then the weather will break. Get some more.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go down to Fort Lauderdale and probably drive down to Miami for a little bit and check it out. And of course, I scoped the weather out, and I know at least by this weekend it's going to be pushing 80 degrees. So you know what? If it's 20 or 30 degrees warmer than here, I don't care where I am. I will take it.
Take it, man. Yeah, the sun's nice today. We're gonna get out today as soon as. About noontime, probably it'll be in the 60s. We'll be out there having some fun and enjoying.
Probably won't be walking around in the
water
fun to come down or anything, but at least you'll be able to enjoy that nice surf and sand.
Great music scene down here. There's, this island that we're on. We used to live on this island and enjoyed this weather and this beautiful Gulf of Mexico every day. But it's a really cool place. 7 Mile Island, probably 30 or 40 night spots on it that people can play, and we've had a good time, man. It's so far so good.
Yeah, not much has been going on back here. Just been busy playing. Played a show last night. Got a couple on. By the time this airs, I'll be packing up, loading up for 2 more shows, an acoustic duo, and then full band the Saturday night. But just
you played how many? You played busy weekend, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
you have several shows, or you got several?
Yeah, I had a couple shows this past weekend and played Tuesday night at Good Time Charlie's, and then play new venues. Steve and Tammy's Tavern on Byers, which used to be Oinkadoodle Moo and Brew, which was the Dark Horse before that, and somewhere in between there it was
Byers
Froggy's and Froggy's Tavern or something. I don't know. So it's changed.
And Byers Inn.
Yeah, so it's been
used to play upstairs.
It's been multiple things, and so we're gonna go in there. We're going in there as a duo. He's only having acoustic acts right now, and so we're gonna go check that out. We'll see how it is.
Cool stuff, man. Yeah. So what we got today? What's going on in your world, man? You've been doing some fun stuff.
Nothing. Oh yeah, like I said.
New backdrop.
Yeah. The studio. I was telling you earlier that it's kind of a mess. Played the shows this weekend and everything, and so got tons of mic stands out and the speakers and PAs all sitting out everywhere, and it's kind of a disaster. And plus, it's kind of cold down there. I have to crank the heat up so high because it's so cold here.
I thought maybe you're going to turn around and play us a little piano riff there.
Well,
man.
We could.
Just spin around and lay something on us here in a few minutes. I see the bourbons back there. It's a good thing to look at.
Oh yeah. This when we moved in, this was originally our wine room, and we had wine everywhere, which we still do. We've got tons of wine in here and everything, and now it's kind of been overtaken by the bourbon. So the wife got me that nice little shelf up there of Kentucky that holds some good bourbons, and then the piano holds most everything else. There's a few other things here and there scattered throughout, but
nice.
But no, just staying busy. Watched a documentary on Prime the other day. It's called Instaband, and it talks about how much people have to be on social media. And some of these guys were talking about it, and girls, they were talking about it, about that they document their day and what they're doing and where they're going and their new album, and they're going live and they're in the studio and they're always talking to their fans and doing all these things. I'm not one for social media. I'm not a big fan of it. The only reason, we've talked about this before, the only reason that I really do it is because I'm in multiple bands. I probably wouldn't do it that much if I wasn't in a band. It was just interesting to see how much these people have to do these things. It's funny because, I've gotten a little better at social media, trying to make the post after the shows, and there
they're
they
coming
go.
to get me.
That's it.
Yeah. They found out about our day at the breweries yesterday.
Oh, skipped out on that tab. That's what it was, right? I was having the conversation with my wife, and we were talking about it, and I said, I try to be on and off of social media as quickly as possible. But, she takes a lot of our photos and videos and different things, and then she processes them and then sends them to me, and then I upload them to Instagram, and I upload them to Facebook, and then I upload it to my personal Instagram, and it's always got to be something different, to keep people engaged. And I was like, well, I'll probably only spend a couple hours on the weekend doing it, and then I'll make a post during the week before a show's coming up, and, sometimes 2 shows, I'll make a couple posts or whatever. And it wasn't, we watched that Sunday night, and then Monday I get up, and my phone's going off at 8:30 in the morning because we'd reached out to some venues the night before trying to get some new shows. I spent from 8:30 until 1 or 1:30 at least on social media, just taking care of all that. And I'm like, here I was last night talking about how I try to do it as quickly as possible, and then I spend half the morning making posts and, communicating with people and doing all that. And I'm like, holy moly. It's just such a different world.
I saw something on the news this morning, the morning national news. They were talking about eye strain, looking at computers and phones and all that. But they also said that during the pandemic, that all the social media platforms have determined the average screen time people are doing a day is 13 hours.
Isn't it crazy?
That's an average. So that means some people are doing 20 hours a day. That's an average. And I about fell out of my chair. It was like 13 hours. And then I start looking at mine. I looked it up on my phone, and my screen time in the last month has been huge. And I think it's because we're kind of closed in. And, what we do, like you say, everything revolves around changing and engaging people and getting all those people. And the frustrating thing is you'll post something on your social media, and like our page, we have 4,800 followers on All Around Town Radio. Well, when I post something and I get 3 likes or 4 likes on it, we post like somebody's birthday, a musician's birthday or something, you get 4 likes. Like, wow, is this worth doing? But then you look at the people that have seen it on the analytics, and you're like, well, maybe it is, 1,000 people viewed it or something. They just didn't comment or like it.
Reached that many people.
It gets you almost take offense to it. It's like, I took the time to do that and nobody cared, But on the other side, I think people scroll through and see so much that, you can't like
No.
everything. You can't hit a button on everything, because then if somebody else likes it, you get a notification, and pretty soon your phone's blown up, or whatever device you're on. Social media is an absolute win for musicians, though. It really is. To get your music out to people and to get people to see you and stay relevant, I think is amazing what you can do on social media. And you see some of these people go viral on Instagram. I mean, millions of views on a TikTok video they
Oh.
do or something, and put on theirs.
Well, that was the,
It's crazy.
not to cut you off, but just to keep
No,
going down that
go ahead.
path, that's what they were talking about on the Instaband. Is, some of these guys, they've gone they've blown up. And while we may not know them and we may not listen to them, one of the guys on there, he was a busker. He started out, his wife convinced him to go and stand out on the corner and freestyle rap. And then he blew up. He blew up, and now he's doing great. And then some of these other people, they're in the studio and they're doing all these different things, and they're going live on Instagram. But the one thing that a lot of them said is that they try to read all the comments and they try to reply. They try to always,
Yes.
engage in their audience and engage with their fans. So then that way they realize that they are just normal people like everybody else. Like, what? They're not untouchables,
Right.
because you have some of those, the big A-listers and different things like that. If you were to send them a message like, oh, I saw your movie, it was so great, or I watched this and, I heard this song and it meant so much to me, they're never going to respond. They're never going to reply to that. But these people take the time so they understand, what? We're just everyday people too. Some people disagree with that, but we don't always get a lot of comments. We might get a lot of likes or a lot of hearts or a lot of whatever on a picture or video or something that we post. But, we're not getting a lot of comments necessarily all the time. But when we do, I always try to make sure and reply to everybody. Even if I just give them like a little thumbs up, a thanks or whatever, just so they realize that we do appreciate it. And while our fan base isn't massive, we're, we don't have the followers like what you have on your All Around Town radio, but we're getting there. We're slowly building it. But the thing is we still appreciate it. We're pushing 600, so we're trying to get over the 600 mark right now. But we appreciate every one of them. We appreciate everybody that comes to the shows. We appreciate everybody who shares our page. And that's the only thing that we can do, just to continue to appreciate our fans. That's the only way that we can stay relevant. And that's the only way that we've been actually getting more, is just continuously trying to reach it in social media. And especially...
And it's a slow climb. It is. It's a slow climb. And I can tell you, I was so thrilled when I got 1,000 viewers or 1,000 likes on my page. And now, being at 4,800 is nothing compared to some of these people out there, who have 50,000, 100,000, million, all that. It's nothing. It's minuscule. But what it does to you, though, I think, is if people get in there and like and do things and comment, that keeps you out there relevant in the feeds and some of that. Facebook's very unique on how they do that. Instagram a little more different. You really scroll through Instagram and you don't just see the same 25 people all day like you do on Facebook. So, it's a two-edged sword, man. It's work. It's so much work to do this social media. But then you think back, how did you advertise before? It was word of mouth, wasn't it? I mean, when you were going to do a show, and it was just your people who were talking to your people who said, hey, you want to go see Geoff play on Friday night? Now you have an opportunity for a huge audience, I guess, if you really work it out. But so does everybody else.
Right.
And the competitive nature of social media is like, who can outdo somebody's video or, platform? I'm seeing more creative ads.
Oh, yeah. Some of the stuff.
Our buddy DeMoss the other day did a trailer video. Did
that
you
was
see
great.
That?
Yeah,
it was.
Of course. And then I get
really cool.
Well, why don't you do that? Why don't you make a trailer like that? And I'm like, well, I could. You can do it. It's kind of not necessarily what we, maybe we will one day or something like that. But that's, to me, that's kind of DeMoss's humor. And that's just kind of like when we had him on and we talked about it, he's like, I just posted this picture of a tiger and said, "Until Rush Show," just because it's out there and it's funny. So
Right.
I don't know. It is just one of those things. It's kind of a game that you have to play. Eventually, you will start reaching more people and more people. And the one thing, and I don't know how you feel about this, some venues, well, before, I'll say pre-COVID, because I've had this conversation. I've been in a band that we've got several thousand followers and likes and everything, and a lot of people knew the name around town, and they'll book us, especially because they look at our followers and they look how many we have on our page, and we've got well over 3,000, and then they look at, even though I'm in the same band, they don't care. I said, hey, what about getting us in here to do some stuff with Route 88? And then, well, I don't know, we'll see. Well, then, COVID hits and you can't book the big bands anymore because they don't have the income. And they're like, hey, I remembered you said you were doing some acoustic stuff or some, little side project. Would you be willing to come in here and play? So, of course, we do. But prior to that, a lot of these places wouldn't even talk to anybody unless they have a minimum of 1,000. Because I've tried to get other bands, other friends of mine, hey, this band would be a great fit for your venue. And they say, they'll pull them up and they're like, well, they don't have 1,000 people following them. So, once they get that many, let them know, then they can call me. So it's all kind of that game that you have to play. But I'm a big fan of getting your likes organically.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not a big fan of buying likes, and so that's why I wanted to get your take.
I know someone in a band that sunk $1,000 into their Facebook advertising, got 90,000 followers in a week. But when you go to their page and on his page, if you look at his screens and his analytics, and you say, okay, where those followers at? Why do you want to advertise or promote to somebody with what you're doing in music to somebody that's in Bangladesh or Japan or whatever? These people, that get paid to like Facebook pages, and they do that for a living, and there's computers that pick it up and do it. I mean, it's all a big game.
Right.
And that serves zero purpose. And all it does, that just kind of smoozes your ego, I think, a little bit. Oh, I've got 90,000 followers. No. And most of the people that have big followers, I don't think have it personally. They have it because of something they're doing.
Right.
The kids who become YouTube sensations, they get those huge followings because of some creative video they did that went viral and everybody shared it, And that to me, I'd rather have organic likes, make it a slow climb to the top, and who knows where it'll level off or peak. And if you look at your stats, you see you lose people, and and you can never get hung up on losing a couple likes a week or this or that, because a lot of that's people who disengage from Facebook, or they shut their profile down, and that shows as you lost a like on your page. And then if they come back on and reactivate, it's right back there again, showing that they're on there. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I believe organic likes and organic everything is the way to go. Now, I have boosted a post here and there, working with the Sorg Theater down in Middletown. They do a lot of target marketing. So if they're going to have a show that has, let's say, Thunderstruck's coming on Saturday there, they would target market to people who like rock and roll within a 50-mile radius.
Right.
And actually, that's very good. And you don't spend much. You spend $5, $10, $15, $20 on an ad that reaches 1,000 or 1,000,000 people, depending on how you do it in that range. And you can go up to 50 miles out. So that's good for people. I think that's where Facebook can be beneficial. But
I've done.
I just don't like buying likes. Buying likes is not my game.
No, I do not want to buy likes, and so. But I have done that. I've done the same thing where you boost a post or you send out an advertisement or you do whatever. And that's maybe when we go play a new venue. Or sometimes it's, we've gotten booked for a Friday or Saturday show on Tuesday or Wednesday because they had a last minute cancellation. And I want the bar to have a good turnout or something like that. And so I'll throw $20 and then just put the pin right on their location and maybe go out even just 15 miles to...
Right.
So, because, I mean, you know how it is now. There's so many places that you can go for music and whatever. A lot of people aren't going to drive. If they're a follower of yours, then they may drive. And they're already probably going to know that you play, and they're probably going to get the notification. And so what I try to do is I just try to target 10 to 15 miles within whatever that venue is. So then that way, maybe it'll reach somebody who's kind of looking for something to do. They like live music and maybe they didn't know that something was going on. It's like, oh, well, I'll pop in there and check out this band this weekend. But yeah, because if you buy the likes, that's the thing. If you buy the likes, like, you get 90,000 and then you book a venue and then you show up to the venue and you have 10 people come. That venue owner is going to look at you and go, but you've got so many followers. How come nobody's here?
Exactly.
Well, because they couldn't get on a plane and come from Bangladesh, right? So.
Right. And one good feature, though, on Facebook, too, that we didn't mention is if you're doing an ad for a show, you can boost that to just people who like your page.
Yes.
And so if you've got, let's say you've got that band following, well, I'll take, for instance, like Ronnie Young from Mad Hatter. He's doing a reunion of a band that they had way back in the 80s, some young kids that were playing. They're doing a reunion show. Well, if you market that to the people who like your page, those are people that were following you because of that band way back when anyway. And man, that's the perfect way to use that and just do a $5 boost. And a $5 boost will make sure everybody on your page sees it. And that's kind of worth its weight, because if they're following you routinely, they like you.
Right.
I mean, they're, unless, very few people follow your page and see what you want to do because they don't like you. That just doesn't happen unless you're some controversial guy like Howard Stern or, something like that. You're not, you're really seeing the folks. And I like to recommend to bands they do that sometimes, especially if they're playing a new place. It's kind of a neat way to get new followers there. People say, oh, let's go try a new joint tonight and let's listen to the band we love,
Yeah.
It's competitive, brother.
It's
competitive.
It is one of those things. And it's one of those things that we've got to do. We've got to keep pounding the pavement. It's just one more. You talked about what we used to do before. We used to make up flyers, print flyers, and then go around town and ask places if we could hang up flyers. So then that way, you go to the venue and you tack it up.
Store. Yep.
And then you take another 20, 30 flyers and you set them, you take them around town so everybody sees it. And that's how people found out that you were playing.
It's crazy.
So I'm kind of glad that we don't have to do that anymore. But at the same time,
I knew a band back in the 80s, early 80s. And, that was long before even cell phones were really out there. And this band would collect at their show telephone numbers. And they had their ladies who followed this band around. They were their fan club, and they talked those ladies into each week making phone calls to their phone list and saying, this is where the band was playing. So these ladies would spend a day on the phone calling, hey, Susie, we know you like to watch Shadow Life. We're playing this weekend at the Dark Horse, and we'd love to see you there. Excellent marketing.
That is. That's pretty ingenious.
That band killed it. They killed it because of that. And all they did is printed up some little papers for people to write on, stuffed them in a box, and then made a phone list. And it was a handwritten phone list. I mean, that was it. And they ran down the list. And, we didn't get her. We won't mark her off this week. And
well,
pretty cool stuff.
It's all about being creative and coming up with the new thing. Shane is one of the. I mean, I've seen people do different things. Where they promote stuff and they do a little snippet of videos and kind of a. Dave Nestor is another one who. He's been doing a lot with this media group, and he's got some killer videos. I don't know if you've ever checked out any of his stuff. That guy is a phenomenal drummer.
Shane DeMoss must have some big screen time. That's all I got to say. Shane spends his life liking, commenting.
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps himself relevant. I'll give him props
does,
for that.
And he stays on it. But that might be the new thing, I think Dave has got this company that he's working with, helping him do the media stuff. And, the trailer thing, like what Shane did, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you can do that on a Mac that comes, that comes preloaded in iMovie where you can make a trailer. And maybe Shane might be breaking into the market of what people want, and what people are going to start doing.
You can do it on your iPhone, man. I've done it on my iPhone. You can make one on your iPhone, and it's crazy.
So, I mean, it's just always trying to stay creative and relevant, and it's like we talked about in previous podcasts. If you're not changing with the times and staying relevant with what's going on, then you're going by the wayside. You got to.
You've made me realize something today. I haven't stayed up this week while I've been on vacation with any of my comments back to people or any of that. So I think it's pool time this afternoon and answering people that have commented on our shows. I don't know. It's that's going to happen.
Oh
The
yeah,
pool is heated.
that's good.
Heated, by the way,
That's good.
which we need today. Yeah, it's chilly, but you let's show some people something here. Let's take a little
Oh
look here.
man.
Look at that.
And I
How
hope
about
everybody
that,
enjoys the last podcast with Scott, because I don't know if we're ever going to have him on again after this.
There it is, right behind us. Now let me see if I can get this thing back in its spot.
Oh, that's
There we
beautiful.
go. Okay. Isn't that beautiful? It's just gorgeous here today, and a beautiful day in the Gulf of Mexico. So
I can't
we're
wait.
enjoying
I
it.
mean, we've been in Ohio for a while, and we're just waiting for those kids to get a little older, and we're punching out, and that's my ideal spot right there, surf and sand. I kind of don't really care
We'll definitely be doing this by Skype then.
where it's going to
because
be.
You'll be on the beach.
So, but
Well, anything else today?
no, I think that'll do it. We'll let you get so you can go enjoy the rest of your vacation, and
I'm going to the pool, man.
spend some time with the wife and enjoy some sun and some awful chilly weather there at the beach. But
Yeah, I know that's relative, but this one's going to air, right? Friday mornings at 10.
Friday at 10.
This is episode 10. 10, double digits, guys,
Double
if you can
digits.
believe.
so
That's amazing, Jeff. It's been a pleasure doing
it
this.
is,
with you.
and
I'm
I
enjoying
appreciate you taking the time out of your vacation to give me a call
fun.
and get this done.
Yeah, it's fun. We're having a good time, and we enjoy it. And Talk Around Town, guys, can be found on YouTube at Haul Around Town Radio. Jeff Edwards on YouTube.
YouTube, and we'll post it on Route 88, and we'll post it on the Haul Around Town.
And we've been getting some views. It's good. I mean, people are enjoying it and getting some positive comments from folks on it. I know I saw Nick Wheeler not too long ago. He's looking forward to a bourbon show that we were talking about doing, and Lindsay. And
That might be
that'd be
coming
fun.
up. Just be ready here, maybe in the next couple
That'd
weeks.
be a good one. This morning it's Bloody Marys, though,
That's
on the beach.
Bloody Mary's on the beach. Can't beat it.
You've been watching Talk Around Town, everybody, with Jeff Edwards and Scott Hall, myself, and Jeff. We do it every week,
Every week.
just for you. Just for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate
Jeff.
it. Enjoy your time down
See you
there.
soon. I will.
All right.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody.
We'll see you.